Pride Round means a lot to you. Talk to us about your involvement with the jumper and the design for 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Can second the fact that it means a lot to me, and even more so to have the opportunity to be involved within the jumper design process this year. Was fortunate enough within my role here at the club as the Inclusion and Diversity Coordinator to have an opportunity to not only bring myself but the playing group, the broader club, our Pride supporter group and many members throughout the club to have input within the Guernsey. The biggest detail being the fact that we've got wording from majority of the club intertwined within the threads and the hoops of the jumper, so it's extremely special, and we hope that when we run out there and as players, and it means a lot to us, it means just as much to the rest of the entire football club.
Can you talk to us about your wording and the meaning of it?
Absolutely, yeah. I've specifically put on there Rycroft Road, Darlington, and that was my home address back in WA. Was the first moment actually I felt comfortable enough to come out to my mum as bisexual, so a nervous moment for me, but one that I've grown so much off the back of, and one that I love to share my story of in hopes to help others with the same situations and encourage people to do the same. And I like to have it a bit cryptic on there because it encourages people to ask questions like yourself as well. So then again, it just allows further conversations to happen off the back of it, and further inclusion and comfortability to emerge in the space. So
does it allow for reflection on your journey as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I probably... what was I? 18 back in Perth at West Coast, and I still would have felt extremely proud to speak in the space, but not as confident, not as myself speaking in the space, not due to any external circumstances, but other than just experience and being more comfortable with who I am and being embraced for who I am. I'm very fortunate to have felt that way growing up, and never more so than within these four walls at this football club, so very lucky.
Have you seen it evolve over the last few years with Pride Round, because it does seem like such a big part of AFLW, that you guys do it fairly well compared to other kind of leagues that I see. How have you just seen it kind of take off in recent years?
Yeah, evolve is definitely the best way to put it, and grow in that space. And I think, like I just spoke about my own comfort within the space, I think that's growing as well. And, whether there's members throughout the Pride community, allies of the Pride community, people are taking a stance on what is and what isn't acceptable in the space. And I think Pride Round for the AFL Women's is not as much even a protest, it's a celebration of the LGBTQIA+ community. It's a celebration of what makes our competition so incredible, and I've said this before, I think it sets a standard of what inclusion and pride should be throughout sport worldwide. So I feel very, very proud and fortunate not only to be a part of the Geelong Football Club in this space, but the AFL Women's as well is definitely leading the way.
So second win on the board on Sunday, what was that like? I was a bit nervous probably in the end, but we're able to kind of hold on. What did you kind of take away from, that game too? Obviously score quite early, but also defensively hold on in the end. Yeah,
in terms of takeaways, I think we took a lot away from that game, but we've also, as you mentioned, come short in weeks before, and I'm always of the objective that you learn a lot more from the losses, but we still learnt a lot off the back of this weekend, and if anything, we similar to previous games, it doesn't feel like we've put a perfect game together yet, but in the same sense, football's not perfect, so we've taken what we can from weeks prior, and we did again off the back of the weekend. We thought we were really strong for 4 quarters, and potentially could have had a higher outcome if we kicked through the big sticks, but that's definitely an RFI for us.
Enjoying the fact you'll need a 6-day break between games?
Yeah, definitely. 6 days doesn't sound much more than 5, but it makes a world of difference to have an extra day, not even just from a physical sense, but emotionally, mentally. I was speaking to the girls post-Sydney, and I know across the competition as well, the fatigue and the drainage that girls are feeling at the moment. Whether that's training, it's just you're constantly dissecting, constantly pulling things apart. You play on a Sunday, you're reviewing it the following Tuesday, and you're playing a couple of days later, so you don't have much time to digest, review, and you also don't have much time to get ready or recover. So, but again, it's no excuse for us because everyone across the competition is going through it. I think we feel very proud as a group as to how we've decided to show up in this condensed period, and we'll look to do the same off the back of the next few weeks of the competition.
Can you take us into the group's mentality, how you treat the next month? You're still alive, but is it very much you're playing elimination finals between here and hopefully sneaking in November?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that from here, but you probably also could have said that prior to Sydney for us as well. And I remember being asked, I think, post Fremantle in an interview around, what was the messaging? Was it that our season's on the line here, girls? We've got to, find a way to control the outcomes here. And I think for us, it's always just been controlling the process of that of how we're playing. And so we didn't have any messaging throughout the Fremantle game around the outcome of what the season looked like. More from a sense of it wouldn't have benefited us at the time to think like that. And I'm assuming we're going to look that way going forward as well. Richmond, for us, they're an incredible opposition, an incredible opportunity for us to play a great game of footy, and whatever comes off the back of that comes off the back of what we control, being the process. So definitely focused on that space.
A couple of games you've scored, you've had that lead, but then the opposition has kind of countered that and scored quite quickly again. Just midfield defensively, how do you just look to obviously time that up when you have Richmond coming up? You've got the likes of Monconti in that side, you've got KB up forward to obviously try and limit them defensively as well. Yeah,
it's and you've got to respect Richmond, you've got to respect every team that we play, but the likes of Monconti and Katie Brennan, as you mentioned, they're massive threats for Richmond. But again, it all comes back to us and what we can control, and the fact that we feel like we have massive threats throughout our team as well. You definitely could have had another moment on the weekend where it was different to how the outcome turned out. So I think, as I mentioned, we've learnt a lot from the weeks prior. Obviously, Sydney kicked a couple late, but we were able to hold on in the dying moments and come away with the 4 points. So we'll look to do the same again, and like I've mentioned, just go back to our brand and how we best play football, and off the back of that, regardless of what the outcome is, we'll know that what we've done is what we've tried to control, so we'll keep moving forward in that space.
Do you see, for your coach's decision, but trying to shut down Monconti, and I guess as well, like she's bound for Geelong later in the year coming to play basketball here, do you have a quick word to her and be like, she's got some allegiances on both sides?
Yeah, I can absolutely. I'll only ever speak highly of Monconti. I think maybe not to her on the field, but I think she's an incredible player. Again, whether or not we send someone to her, that's more of a Dan conversation, and something that if that is the case, we'll absolutely run with it. If it isn't, we'll look to back ourselves in again. But same as previous weeks, Laura Gardner, for example, we probably could have put someone to her prior. I don't think that we did. But again, we'll back ourselves in the way that we play, and if we need to make adjustments throughout the game, we can. On the Geelong basketball stuff, I wish her nothing but the best. I'll probably go down to watch her, to be honest. I love basketball, so.
How have you felt like your season as well? I thought, pressure forward, had really kind of consistent and year bringing that pressure forward. How has that just kind of worked for you? Obviously missing kind of probably Kate Sturman in that similar role in the last couple of weeks, but in terms of trying to impact on that scoreboard, whether it's giving off to, you've got Ash and Jackie, who are big kind of targets down there, to get to a game against Gold Coast when you were scoring so highly and potently, what kind of needs to be just kind of working for you guys in that sense? Yeah,
thank you firstly, and I'm personally enjoying my shift up to the half forward. I found it's really interesting and a different mindset to be a part of a forward group. I did feel that on the wing as well, but emphasising what I've just mentioned about the forward group piece, it's such a connected line that if we are working in isolation, it doesn't work as well as we need it to. So it's a massive focus for us to work together in that space, talls, smalls, and understanding your role and when not to go. Again, I've no doubt in our team that if they're in the moment and need to kick the goal, they will. If they need to hand it off, they will. But it's just understanding the time in the moment and your role within that piece. So again, like I mentioned, hopefully we get a few more of them between the big six. But we're heading in the right direction in that space.